All right, what's up? Welcome back to Dapper Dividends. I am Russ. It's a Monday night. My mother came into town Friday. I haven't seen her in almost 3 years. She left this morning after I went to work. So it is Monday night, but I'm committed and we're going to get this thing done and get it out so I can tell you about the new position that I added to my portfolio. I'm going to tell you what the moves I made were within the taxable and the self-directed IRA. And fun little thing, I'm going to play a video at the end of each of these. Every week I'm going to play one music video from a band or group that I like, just some kind of song that makes me smile. So as I said, my mother was in town. We went to the old neighborhood. We visited my grandparents. Funny enough, they are buried very close to an infamous Chicagoan, Mr. Alphonse Capone. We visited his grave, and it really got me thinking that my grandparents were very instrumental in raising me in my life. I'm the product of divorce. My father left before I was a year old. He split, so I didn't really know him. And my grandparents helped raise me while my mother was at work. And they were born early. My grandpa was born in 1914, my grandma in 1919. So they both lived through the Great Depression. And that shaped who they were and how they thought and things they felt. And they imparted much of that upon me. So I have Great Depression era sentiment baked into my character and my disposition, which I think gives me a unique perspective on life and investing. And I know how hard it is to start, especially for young aspiring dividend growth investors. I'm a little bit further along my journey, and I know how hard it can be to start, but the best advice I can give is to just start. As that Lao Tzu quote says, "The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." That's perfect. That's one of my favorite quotes. It just says you have to get started. Just do it. Get started. Like Nike says, get started. And if I can do it, you can do it, because I was raised lower middle class, very little financial education. I didn't go to college, and I'm terrible at math. Horrible at math, muy terrible. So I said I'm gonna be the last of the lower middle class. I'm gonna give my kids generational wealth that will hopefully supersede myself multiple generations down the line. And I just decided to be purposeful with my money and very intentional with what I'm doing. And the goal I have is to be financially independent, and one day work will be optional. I do like what I'm doing, but I want that to be an optional choice, that I don't have to feel obligated to go to work if I don't want to, or I can do something different. I want that freedom to choose. And if you don't have a path, man, you've got to have something that you're working towards, something that gets you up in the morning. What gets you out of bed? Don't just work to work and follow other people. I just told my kids, you wouldn't get on the expressway and follow other people just because they're driving somewhere. You know, if you don't know where you're going, you might not like where you end up. Have a plan and have a path. You're free to change it, but have a direction and purpose with your life. And for me, that purpose is as easy as starting with something like AT&T or the S&P 500 index, the SPY. Just start a plan and stick to it. So as I said, I'm sharing my journey and what I'm doing, what I'm thinking and buying, motivation, thoughts on investing, thoughts on life. Dividends are not just financial. Always remember that, and join me on my journey to 1 million and beyond, like Buzz Lightyear, to infinity and beyond. To 1 million and beyond is where I am going. And if you want to see that and you want to join me for the ride, please hit that like button, and better yet, hit the subscribe button. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything, and it takes just a second. Thank you. With that being said and all that out of the way, now you know a little bit more about me. Thank you for sticking around. I'm going to get into the stock I bought this week, which was Merck. Merck is one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies. They're 125 years old. And a quick peek of their pipeline: they have antiviral, SARS, HIV infection, schizophrenia. They are working on lots of stuff that afflict a lot of people. And you can just see how solid this is. All the different drugs that they are working on to help cure cancer primarily. Lots and lots of things that Merck is doing. Good stuff going on with Merck, and a company that I am proud to be able to call myself an investor into. They did close today down at $78.67. They have a one-year target estimate on Yahoo Finance of $95.50. Quick snapshot here. You can see the last 3 years, revenue and earnings, all three up and to the right. And this year, they just keep beating the earnings by healthy margins the last 2 quarters. Market Beat also gives them a target of $95, which is an upside forecast of 20.9% from the current price of $78.67, according to Market Beat. That dividend is very safe, only 37% of cash flow, according to Market Beat, and 47% of the trailing 12-month earnings, the TTM. And the dividend yield is currently at 3.10%, pays $2.44 per year per share, and that will be going up the next quarter. Old Chucky Schwab, Charles Schwab, gives them a B rating, which is a buy, outperform rating, percentile ranking of 14 as of October 17th, 2020. Ned Davis, Ned the Head Davis Research, gives Merck also a buy rating. Morningstar has a fair value estimate of $100, 4-star rating as of October 14th, 2020. Check out the price to earnings. The current is 19.6 with the 5-year average being 41.8. So according to Morningstar, this is about 19% undervalued, and the sector PE is 26.5. So this is by all metrics, according to Morningstar here, undervalued. I highlighted this because, as you can see, they are through the worst of its patent cliff, which is something that AbbVie will be facing with Humira and their patent that is expiring. But this is something that is definitely good to see when they are through some definite headwinds. And the last one we'll look at is the Argus Research Report, which is from August 12th, so it is a little bit stale, but they give them a price target of $95. And as they did point out, Merck had updated its guidance. It bumped the guidance up $850 million and adjusted the EPS up. All good things that you want to see, which is fantastic. Net margin is one of my favorite ratios to look at. And the quick explanation of net margin is, if right here it's 6, that means they were keeping $6 of every $100 that came in. You really want to see this up above 10, I think, is a fantastic number to shoot for. That's a huge cushion, and I really think that's healthy. That last year they kept $21 of every $100 that came in. Check out from the proxy summary. Look at this last year. $10.5 billion of capital was returned to shareholders through dividends and share repurchases. There's a fun little performance graph to check out. If you were to put $100 into Merck on December 31st, 2014 and reinvest all dividends, that $100 would be worth $187 after 5 years, which is a compound annual growth rate of 13%. The S&P 500, they beat that too, which was only 12%, so slightly better than the S&P 500. These are cool little comparisons that you want to look at, and something that's very nice to see. One last metric to point out here is the cash and cash equivalents that they had from 2017. In the far right column was $6 billion to $7.9 billion in 18 and $9.9 billion in 2019. We will see how bad of a hit they're going to take this year. But all things given, I like the direction that was going pre-COVID. And last but not least, look at this, what I found in the S&P 500 healthcare sector revenue since the ACA was enacted have risen more than 200%, with the sector's overall sales up more than 129%. The healthcare sector loves them some ACA, and they are going to be lobbying to not have that repealed, because look at all the money and the earnings growth and the revenue growth that has come in from that. That was Merck. Tell me what you think. Leave me your comments, your thoughts, sus reseñas in the comments below. And now let's take a look at the moves I made in my taxable and SD IRA portfolios. In the Dapper Dividends weekly roundup, we're going to get through this quick. Here we go. I got a little write-up about everything that I did buy. In the taxable portfolio, I only received dividends from Leggett & Platt, which was $4 in my pocket. In the bank, I did buy my share of Pepsi at $142.50. ExxonMobil, 3 shares at $33.45 with a massively inflated 10.40% yield. 2 shares of MetLife at $38. 2 shares of Prudential. I really like the financial sector for insurance companies. Now, the banks are bringing the financial sector down hard, but the insurance companies are being brought down with them, like deck chairs from the Titanic. I think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to float to the surface, and I keep buying up more of these cheap companies that are going to be doing phenomenal come the near future. 1 share of Johnson & Johnson at $146. 2 shares of AbbVie, still beaten down, dropping more this week at $86.78. And there's my 2 shares of Merck at $79.85. Pay no attention to that yield. That's a lie. You wouldn't know. I just told you it was 3%. Somebody doesn't know how to do. I told you I was bad at math. So the total is $$ of added annual income, $45.37. Just fantastic there, Russ. I know. And here's the income breakdown. So it's $1,560 a year, $130 a month, $30 a week. $4.27 a day I'm getting from dividends. I love that. And 17 cents an hour. I cannot wait till I'm at 25 cents an hour. So every hour that goes by, I make another quarter. Now the SD IRA, my self-directed IRA portfolio I opened up, I did receive $10.53 of realty income, $1.06 from Federal Realty Trust, and 4 cents of interest from Schwab. Now, it's very microscopic what they'll pay you, but if you do have cash sitting there for a certain length of time, they will pay you bank interest on that money. So I did receive $11.63 of dividends and only a few buys. I bought 5 shares of Realty Income at $60.99 for an added annual income of $14. And then what I did here with Energy Transfer, because they are a master limited partnership, I ended up selling them out of my taxable account because of how unfavorable and kind of a tax headache that MLPs are in your taxable account. So I'm going to leave these sit and percolate in the SD IRA, and I am down substantially on those. So I need them to recover. The yield is just stupid at almost 20%. I cannot imagine that if things don't whipsaw quick, that dividend is not going to be cut, because that is crazy. They cannot sustain that in perpetuity. But either way, that added $51.87 of added annual income. And the breakdown, $1,512 a year, $126 a month, $29 a week, $4 a day. And again, with the 17 cents every hour on the hour. I love it. Thank you. So once again, this is your second chance. I'm telling you, as a former petty officer in the United States Navy, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter at RustyRam78. And check out my podcast I do every Tuesday and Friday called Dapper Dividends, the same name. And the song of this video is a live cut. One of my favorite bands, one of my favorite songs by my favorite band, Don't Drag Me Down by Social Distortion. This song came out in 1996. I had just gotten out of boot camp when this was released. And my disclaimer, this is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. So please do your own due diligence before putting any money into the market. And even better yet, speak with a licensed fiduciary before you invest your money, because there is a risk of loss. And these are just my opinions shared for your fun and entertainment. So stay tuned, check out another video, and I will see you next week.
This song's on the new record, White Light, White Heat, White Trash. This song's called Don't Drag Me Down, motherfucker! it's hard to hate. Parents just couldn't wait. Some are rich and some are poor. One was will some are more. I'm a better shame and fell to sign to try to keep you down again. You're watching straight and sleep and turn around. That's why I keep you down. Turn around. Don't drag me down. Ignorance like a gun in hand. Reach out of the promised land. Release the guts all full of lies. Be a bliss going dry your eyes. Yeah, I'm bad afraid and foul society to run and keep you down. Again, do what's straight and see the turn around. That's why I hate you down. Turn around. Don't drag me down. Ignorance like a gun in hand. Reach out to the promised land. Your history books are full of lies. Media blitz gonna dry your eyes. You're 18, wanna be a man. Your granddaddy's in the Ku Klux Klan. Taking 2 steps forward and 4 steps back. I go White House and paint it black. Don't drag me